welcome everybody to our voices. Today we have two wonderful fellows, that are participating in our dialogue series, but also are going to be taking the lead in this podcast and really amplifying the voices for our community and one way or another. And to begin, I would like to introduce them, right, or have them introduce themselves and share a little bit about who they are and also their pronouns and yeah, just starting off with who they are. So whoever would like to go first.
I guess I can start us off. Hi, my name is Kyron Loggins, pronouns he and him. I'm 18 years old from Oakland, California, and I attend San Jose State University. And I'll be one of the fellows for the Hour Voices for this entire Civil Liberties Project. And I think that if I was to describe myself or kind of in the context of the Civil Liberties Project, I would say that I am inspired by change and I'm inspired by people with ideas. So I hope to be able to bring my ideas to the table. And I'm also really excited to hear everyone else's ideas.
Hi everybody, my name is Aeja Rosette. I use she, her, hers pronouns. Right now I'm a junior at Columbia University, all the way in New York City. But right now I'm in Hollister. I'm spending my semester here doing my online classes and jobs and stuff like that. And I've lived in Hollister since I was like 2 or something. So it's pretty much all I know until I went to New York, which is big change. But yeah, I'm also really excited to get to know everybody and to hear everybody's ideas and stuff like that. And I think it's a really cool opportunity to talk more amongst peers and on people who are on what feels like an equal footing with you and talk about important issues and stuff like that, because in school it's someone's talking at you a lot of the time, or in college it's a little bit intimidating with professors and stuff like that. And I think it's a really cool opportunity to kind of feel like you're on a level playing field and that the people around you will kind of hear you out and relate to you. So I'm excited to talk about things that we all think are important.
Cool, thank you. And so to begin too, my name is Arturo Munoz too. I've been working with Youth Alliance for over a year and a half now, and I've been hosting this podcast from the beginning, from the beginning of our podcast, our voices. And so, it's a pleasure to now have these two incredible voices part of this discussion too. For me, it's really about highlighting the youth, right? Highlighting our young individuals that often get overlooked. So it's definitely uh, a pleasure to have two individuals like Aeja and Kyron to take on the lead and continue to foster these conversations. As they beyond my own capabilities. So appreciate you both for being here. And again, for those that are tuning in, that we're going to be talking about a lot of different topics revolving our our local politics and also just things that us youth go about that we often don't have the space to to vent about it or dialogue about it or provide our own opinions. And so to begin, for you all, why is it important for us to really practice the power of our own voices? Why is it important to even have a voice? What does that mean to you?
I think when I think of having a voice, especially in the context of as young adults, it's so important, especially in the time we live in, because everybody is getting their soundbite off. Everybody is saying something. We have social media, we have mass media, we have all these things where everybody's inserting their opinion. And so if you don't, you kind of miss out on the opportunity to be a part of the larger conversation that's happening in the world. And if people aren't hearing what your thoughts are, if people aren't hearing how you feel, if people aren't hearing what you think, then there's no way for the world to react to you. There's no way for the world to modify itself to you. So if you want the world to have a space for you and to kind of represent you, you have to have the freedom and you have to exercise the freedom to give your thoughts out, to have that floor.
Yeah, I agree. I think that there's a lot of different avenues for people to express their voices now, especially with social media and stuff like that. But also I think there's it's a very unique experience to sit with people who you relate to or who they're on the same level as you and have an actual conversation rather than just kind of projecting what you feel and so for me, I think what's really important about having a voice is that it's kind of a reciprocal thing. I have my voice and I'm going to share whatever I feel and whatever I know, but at the same time I'm also going to be listening to those people around me, and I think that's really important especially now there's like I think there's a lot of conflicting things, and there's a lot of like problems, I guess we can say, with the world and that we all face. And it's important to kind of also sit back and listen to other people. And for me, like that, like the kind of like discussion style situation was not like a big part of my like school education growing up. I feel like even in like higher level classes or whatever in high school and stuff like that, it was a lot of being talked at or learning things like from a book and stuff like that. And then getting to college, and I was kind of dumped into like these like small seminar style classes and stuff like that. It was kind of jarring to be like, oh, now I have to be the one saying things all the time. And it really is like you sitting around with like 10 people and like everyone has to be contributing. And that was kind of like a crazy adjustment for me. It was a really different educational experience. And so I think with this, it's a really cool opportunity, especially for high school students, like to kind of get used to that and to engage with that.
Yeah, I think the important part too is that people that are going to be participating on the workshops we'll be having, the dialogue series that we'll be having, they're definitely heard. We always coming into this kind of platform with an open mind, right? And also with the ability to feel safe within this environment, too. We're able to like be ourselves and just come as we are, and be heard, right? Oftentimes we don't have that space, that platform to do so. So it's a very much a welcome invitation for you all to participate with that. And further details will be provided as we solidify the dates and so on. But know that those spaces are definitely there, and that there definitely will be appearing as the periodically, for y'all to participate in. And again, invite others too, because it's definitely a place that I would say that a lot of us have been longing for. And so yeah. Besides that, I really want to kind of like again, see what you all think, Kyron and Edge, about like, what do you think other participants will get out of this? What is it that they should expect?
I think that more than anything, participants should look forward to being able to have a peer-to-peer space where they can just exchange their thoughts and kind of talk about things that are always swirling around, especially in our mile a minute news cycle. All these things, whether it's COVID, whether it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, whether it's the current event happening next week, whether it's the election, all the types of things that just spin around and we kind of see as a Twitter trend. I think that it's a really good opportunity to, one, just slow down and decompress it personally, but also another opportunity to kind of just speak about it in a setting where it's not always the Twitter war back and forth, and you kind of get to preserve some of the nuance that we're not getting in our virtual communications, maybe on social media sometimes. So I think that more than anything, it's kind of just a marketplace for thought and a chance to kind of get back some of that social setting that you're missing out on having to be virtual in 2020.
Yeah, I agree. I think that, like I mentioned earlier, that it is really different like to sit around and talk with people versus to have, like you were saying, like Twitter wars, or to like post onto your Instagram story about a certain topic. And like I think especially over the past like half a year or whatever, we've seen a lot of like really fast-paced events or people talking about things on social media where everyone feels like is posting a lot of things, but I feel like not necessarily like slowing down and engaging with things in like a really, not necessarily detailed, but like in a really like critical way. And so I feel like this, like the podcast series, but also the dialogues where people can come in and talk themselves, I think is a way, like you put it, to kind of slow down and digest the things that are going around in the world, because it can feel really fast a lot of the time. And so I think that's a really great opportunity. And I think for me personally, I'm especially excited about the dialogue series and about like high school students having the opportunity to speak their own opinions and to speak their own knowledge. Because like I said, the transition for me was kind of crazy and into that sort of format. And I think it's really important. And I think you learn a lot from listening to other people and then also having to engage with their thoughts and say your own. So I think I see it as an opportunity for everyone to kind of grow and everyone to hear other people and just engage with the world around them kind of, and to kind of have this opportunity to look at the world around them through a variety of lenses kind of.
I like how you put it too, looking at the world around us, because like you mentioned too, like when you move to New York for that period of time, and everything's different. So it's really nice to come into the space and learn from different people, right? That come from different backgrounds and come different places of the world, or even like the state, or even neighborhoods, right? So it's always a good place to come to learn and also come to be heard and stuff like that. And so, with that being said, I don't know if y'all want to share any last words before we conclude this introduction.
I think I would just like to say I'm excited for anyone who would like to show up and to just kind of give it a chance. It's not a binding commitment. It's not a contract that you have to sign, but definitely come by and join the conversation and see what you get out of it.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it'd be great to like see some people's faces, meet some new people. Like this is a time where everyone is sort of like isolated with their computers or whatever. But I think it would be a great thing to kind of engage with other people and like you said, like hear from other people, like understand other people's experiences. And I think that's definitely something that has like really stuck with me in like my move. And so
Mm.
even like now on like a more close to home level, I really believe in the power of like meeting other people and hearing what they have to say.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see y'all in the workshops as well. I'll be there hanging out. That's it. But for the meantime, continue tuning into our episodes. We're going to be having the podcast every so often. So again, more details and more links will be sent your way. And appreciate everybody that's supporting us, through this journey as well. And yeah, we're excited to see y'all.